Hello and welcome back to the NIST Cybersecurity Framework Learning Series. In this lesson, I'm going to review and explain the roles, responsibilities, and authorities category, which focuses on establishing and communicating clear cybersecurity roles and responsibilities. And remember, although these lessons can apply to any business or industry, our example through this series has been a small Irish pub. So with a team typically led by an owner or general manager and supported by bartenders, servers, and kitchen staff, formal structures are limited, yet the need for shared understanding remains high. Together, they ensure that cybersecurity is not left to chance, but is instead treated as a collective responsibility that protects the pub's systems, customers, and reputation. This category falls under the govern function and contains 4 subcategories, which I will explain now. GV.RR-01. The owner must model good practices by treating cybersecurity as a core business concern rather than an afterthought, ensuring that staff understand why protecting customer payment data, reservation systems, and supplier portals matter. This includes setting clear expectations that suspicious emails or unauthorized access attempts will be reported without fear of blame. Leadership also drives ongoing improvement by reviewing incidents or near misses during staff meetings and adjusting routines accordingly. By visibly owning these responsibilities and cultivating an atmosphere where everyone feels accountable for safeguarding digital and physical assets, the owner turns cybersecurity into a shared value that protects both the business reputation and its close-knit community of patrons. So for RR01, we want leadership to be involved in the whole cybersecurity process. You can have all hands meeting with everyone so that they understand how important it is. RR02, roles, responsibilities, and authorities related to cybersecurity risk management are established, communicated, understood, and enforced. So the owner or general manager typically holds overall accountability, while the shift manager may be designated to oversee daily monitoring of the point of sale systems, the guest Wi-Fi, and the online ordering platforms. Bartenders and servers need defined duties such as promptly reporting suspicious payment activity or phishing attempts, and the person handling supplier orders must know how to verify vendor communications. These expectations should be written into simple role descriptions or posted guidelines and explained during onboarding and regular staff briefings so that every team member understands their part. Enforcement occurs through consistent follow-up, recognizing good reporting practices and addressing lapses without creating a punitive atmosphere. By making cybersecurity responsibilities explicit and actionable rather than assumed, the Irish pub ensures that risk management doesn't rest solely on one person and that accountability is shared across the small team. Moving on to RR03, adequate resources are allocated commensurate with the cybersecurity risk strategy, roles, responsibilities, and policies. So even with limited budgets, the owner needs to set aside time, money, and attention for protecting digital and operational systems rather than treating cybersecurity as an optional extra, as a nice to have. This may include budgeting for reliable antivirus and endpoint protection on the point of sale terminals, or paying for a reputable payment processor with strong security features, or scheduling paid staff hours for basic security awareness discussions and training. It can also mean investing in simple tools such as a password manager, multi-factor authentication for supplier portals, or occasional external IT support when needed. Resource decisions should match the identified risks, prioritizing payment and customer data protection over less critical systems, and be reviewed periodically as the pub's technology or threat landscape changes. By consciously aligning available resources with stated responsibilities and policies, Leadership demonstrates that cybersecurity is a practical priority rather than an unfunded expectation. RR-03, sort of like the current state of AI. Everyone's talking about it. All the companies are talking about AI, but how many of them are actually investing in the functionality of AI? Actionable plans for AI, not just free trainings, right? If you're serious about a push, you put money behind the effort, and that includes cybersecurity programs. RR-04, cybersecurity is included in human resource practices. So this is kind of related to RR-02. This ensures that cybersecurity expectations are front-loaded during the hiring process and throughout the employee's career through HR. So from the moment a new bartender or server or kitchen staff member is hired, remember we're talking about an Irish pub, not an IT company here. So think about your organization and how this would plug into onboarding. But basic cybersecurity expectations should form part of the onboarding, covering password policies and procedures, how to recognize phishing attempts, proper handling of customer payment information, right? PII, PHI, PCI, and rules around personal device use, right? Bring your own BYOD, bring your own device policies. Background checks where appropriate for roles with access to financial systems or sensitive data. It helps reduce insider risks. Ongoing practices include periodic reminders during staff meetings, clear guidance in employee handbooks or simple written policies, and consistent messaging that cybersecurity responsibilities apply equally to full-time and part-time team members. When someone leaves the restaurant, prompt removal of system access and return any devices or keys prevents lingering exposure. So if an employee leaves the company, puts their 2 weeks notice or otherwise, same as an IT place. If they have an email account, you need to sever that connection so they can't do things from the outside, or someone could take advantage of their account when they're not there anymore. So by weaving these considerations into everyday HR routines, the owner can ensure that the people side of the business actively reinforces rather than undermines the business's overall cybersecurity posture. So in conclusion of roles, responsibilities, and authorities, which is GV.RR, in a small Irish pub, the combined application of RR-01 through RR-04 creates a practical foundation for cybersecurity accountability even when formal structures are limited. When leadership openly owns the risk, roles are clearly defined and enforced, and adequate resources are allocated, and human resource practices consistently reinforce secure behavior, the entire team begins to treat cybersecurity as a shared operational responsibility rather than an abstract technical concern. This coordinated approach helps protect customer payment data, supplier portals, and day-to-day systems while building a culture of awareness and continuous improvement. For a business that relies on trust, community reputation, and efficient daily operations, establishing these roles and responsibilities is not an extra burden, but a straightforward way to reduce avoidable risk and support long-term resilience.